Guys, today we are going to start off just kind of taking a look at what all we did yesterday. While we're doing that, Nikki, if you can pass these out to our shoulder partners. We're going to be working in shoulder partners today, so just give that to the person in the front. And if you can pass these out, give one to every person, and I'm going to explain what to do with those in just a second. All right, just taking a quick peek at what we're going to be doing today. We'll start off with our reflections. We'll be writing some personal goals. We will be getting in to see what Learn Zillion is going to be telling us what to do. Just make sure that we're on task with Learn Zillion. We'll be working with shoulder partners the majority of the day today, and we'll be taking a look at our word of the day. We'll be doing some paraphrasing. We're going to discuss the ending. Yesterday we finished the story, so we'll be discussing that. We'll be using our conversation stems when we do that. We will be filling out a character chart. Of course, I'll model it for you. You guys will practice it as a class, and then you'll do some on your own. You'll be doing some peer feedback during that time, so kind of helping each other out. And then we're going to take a look back at our predictions before we read the story and kind of see if we were on point or not. For our exit ticket today, for our Write It Down, you will be creating your own rubric and checking your own work according to that rubric. So we'll be turning that in. That'll be your character claim. And then we'll check and look at our goals from the beginning of the class to see, did you meet your goal for today? So you will check that whenever you're leaving. And then we'll look ahead at what we're going to do tomorrow. So first, let's just kind of take a look at yesterday. Remember what we did yesterday? We worked with irony. We finished our story, and we went through the 3 different types of irony. And so we kind of applied those to each of the stories. And then we also went through lots of different vocabulary words. We pulled out the vocabulary words that Learn Zillion gave us. And then we also looked at our own vocabulary charts. And so we identified all those words, and we defined them. You guys remember that? Yes? Yes. All right. Let's take a look at our goals for today. All right, taking a look at what our goals are for today. So if we look at our official goals, taking a look at our standards, today we're going to be citing evidence from the text. We're going to be looking for evidence that supports our analysis, so not just grabbing random sentences from the text, but whatever supports whatever argument we're going for. Then we're going to be taking a look at how dialogue and incidents reveal aspects of the character. We've done this before, so we're going to be applying it to our story. We're going to be determining the meaning of words as they're used in the text. We did that yesterday, doing it again today. Does anybody happen to remember the word that we put a box around yesterday? It's going to be our word of the day. Very close. Very close. Anna? Martyr. 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 So today we're going to be taking a look at the word martyr. We're going to be defining that in your shoulder partners. All right, so then if we take a look at this last one, draw evidence to support. Oh, look what I've got here. To support. Okay, nice opportunity to edit. No one's caught that all day long. To support your analysis. So notice this is the same thing. You're going to read it, and then you're going to write it. Okay, so this is the same thing. This is just reading it and then putting it down into words. So I want you to kind of think of a couple of things, or one thing, that you can do today, just you. These are our goals as a class. Here are some ideas. Maybe as we were reading the story, you came across a word that you were like, I don't know what this word is. We're just going to keep on going. I can figure out the story anyway. But today, as we're going through the text again, I want you to come up with what the definition for that word is, using your context clues. So that might be your personal goal. Another personal goal might be, okay, I really don't like the person I'm sitting next to, and Ms. Sparks keeps making me work with them as a shoulder partner. But today, I'm going to work more effectively with this person. Maybe that's going to be your goal. Maybe your personal goal today is going to be, I love the person I'm sitting next to. But every time we work together, we talk about what we're supposed to for about 2 seconds, and then we talk about the prom that Ms. Roberts was telling us about this morning, or we talk about what's going on Instagram, or Snapchat, or something else, and we never stay on task. So maybe that's your personal goal for today. So I want you to think about what your personal goal is that you can accomplish in the next hour, and I want you to write it down on your little piece of paper. So your little piece of paper is going to look like this, your name and your personal goal, something that you can accomplish in the next hour. I'll give you about a minute to jot that down. Lesson 5 with Learn Zillion. Tells us we finished reading Ransom of the Red Chief. So are we on point with Learn Zillion?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, perfect. All right, so Learn Zillion tells us that today we're going to discuss the ending of Ransom of Red Chief. We're going to identify what is unexpected about the characters. And we're going to analyze how the characters' thoughts, feelings, and actions impact us as the reader. So we're going to need a few things. First of all, we're going to need our story, Ransom of Red Chief. We're going to need the character chart that Nikki just passed out. We're going to need our conversation stems. You're going to also need paper and a pencil. So pull it out on your desk. And then I want you to check the person sitting near you to make sure they have everything. All right, so just take a look at the person next to you. If there's something that they're missing, be sure you let them know. And let me see where our conversation stems are, because we do not have those on our desk. So can you show me where we can find those? Perfect. Okay, so you're going to know where to find those whenever we need them in just a little while. Okay, looks like we're all set. So let's move forward. All right, first thing we're supposed to do is analyze this quote right here in our story. However, we have an unknown word in here. Does anybody recognize the word? Destiny. Martyr. Okay? Right here. Let me tell you where we can find this word so you don't have to go digging through the whole story. Go to page 8, paragraph 68. So I want you to discuss with your shoulder partner a definition for the word martyrs. And Savannah, if you can be our timekeeper, go ahead and give us 3 minutes for this. 3 minutes, give us a definition for martyrs. So you can go ahead and start discussing now.
That suffered death rather than give the
goes on to suffer death rather than give up his photograph than
Okay, keep on adding to that. So now do we all fully comprehend what the definition of a martyr is?
Yes.
Okay. Why in the world is Bill talking about it? So now that you have the concept, I want you to go with your shoulder partner and answer these 2 questions. What reason does Bill give to explain why he let the boy go? So he was saying, I tried to be a martyr, but I had to give up. I couldn't do it. Why would he say that? Okay, then your second question is, and what does Bill not understand about Red Chief? There's something that Red Chief is wanting, and he's getting it with Bill. He's willing to leave his home. What does Bill not get with that? Okay, so we're going to give you, let's go with about 5 minutes. So Savannah, if you can start our timer, discuss that with your shoulder partner. Yes, you can write down people who got the correct answer, so they've got green for go, so they're going to come and give you feedback, all right, until you get the correct answer. All right, go ahead.
That's another part. They go to that, and it's kind of closer to the end.
He wanted the boy to go because Bill didn't know that Red Chief wanted to have fun, and he was like, Red Chief was he threw a rock at him, he tried to put his scalp off, he was riding like a horse, kicking him in the sides, and James getting tired of that.
We're going to walk around this time. Go ahead and flip your cards back to orange because you're in construction zone, you're still working. When I hear the correct answer, when I hear what I'm looking for, I'll flip it back to green for go, okay? What I'm going to be listening listening for, and this is a very challenging part, is to include these conversation stems. Okay? Because if you can say it, you can write it. So we have to be intentional in the way that we're talking. That helps to be intentional in the way that we are writing. Okay? So you're going to be talking about what made the end of this story surprising. So I'll be listening for these conversation stems. Savannah, if you can start our timer. And begin your conversations.
It didn't turn out like I thought it would. It really did, because I thought they were actually going to get the rent. I didn't think they were going to have to right, you know. But like,
Cool part of what we're working on, the conversation stems. But if we can start working that into our conversation, we can start working it into our writing. All right, it's just like using transitional phrases. Transitional phrases do not come naturally. But if we can be intentional about what we're saying and bring in these kinds of phrases while we're talking, then we can bring in transitional phrases while we're writing. Okay? That's why we're doing it, because you might be thinking, well, I don't want to be talking like that. I don't talk like that. That's why we're talking like that. Okay? Because it makes us more conscious of what we're saying. All right? Okay, let's move on. You guys did a good job with that. That's the most difficult thing we're doing today. Okay? Okay, let's go and pull out those character charts. We're going to start putting some stuff on paper. We're going to do the first one together. We are going to take a look at a few characters. I'll do the first one. I'm going to take a look at Sam because he was the character that was writing. All right? The whole story is from his point of view. And so the first question is, what were Sam's thoughts, feelings, and actions related to the kidnapping? Remember, he was in charge. Okay? But if you go look in your story at the very first sentence, we can answer this question. So flip to the very first page and read the first sentence. Can someone please raise your hand and tell me Sam's thoughts and feelings related to the kidnapping? I'll give a second for my ovens. All right, Lex?
well, I guess you could say before they actually went into act with it, it looked like everything would pan out with the plan and everything, but after it, he said it got kind of iffy. He changed his mind about it.
Okay, very good. So I kind of just jotted down and put, Sam thinks the kidnapping was a bad idea. Looking back on it in hindsight, he said it was a bad idea. All right, does that kind of match what you were saying?
Yeah,
all right, perfect. Well, then I would say, well, how do you know? What's the evidence in the text? So what evidence could we use for this square? Colby?
It says, wait till I tell you. We were down south in Alabama. Bill and myself, we were kidnapping. The idea struck, and afterward, as Bill afterward expressed it, during the moment of temporary mental apparition.
Okay, very good. Is there another piece of evidence that I could use? Yeah?
It said it looked like a good thing, but wait till I tell you. And then it goes on to say how they thought it was such a good idea, and then it says, but we didn't find that out till later.
Okay. Both of these are great pieces of evidence. I went with the first paragraph with that very first sentence, just because it was simple, it was right out there, and I could write it very quickly. And I identified where I found this sentence. In paragraph 1, he says, it looked like a good thing, but wait till I tell you. That was the one I directed your attention to. So this proves that he thought the kidnapping was a bad idea. All right? The last thing we're going to do in this character chart is it says, what is unexpected about how the character thinks, feels, or acts? So what would be unexpected about this? Because he was in charge. He's the boss. So it's kind of weird, it's kind of surprising that he thinks it's a bad idea when he's in charge. Okay, so I'm going to answer that. Notice that I'm going to reframe the question. Okay, goes back to our rates. Restate the question. So here I'm restating, it is unexpected, I'm bringing that terminology straight out of my question. It is unexpected that he would think it was a bad thing considering it was his idea. And he was the boss. Then notice I'm going to get the second question because remember, answer all the parts. This makes it funnier to us as the reader. Okay? Then let me just check the rest of it. Did I already cite the evidence? Yes, in the second square. Did I explain the evidence? Yes, in the first square. Okay? So let's do this second one together, Ebenezer Dorset, because he tends to be the most iffy character in the story. Who is Ebenezer Dorset?
The father.
The father. Okay? So I want you to think about his thoughts, feelings, and actions related to the kidnapping. And before you answer, you need to think before you respond. Okay? So before you raise your hand, be sure you can put your finger on the evidence, because I'm going to ask you to prove your answer. So go ahead and think about his connection to this kidnapping, and they have your evidence ready. I'll give you a second. You guys have your answers ready? Raise your hand if you can put your finger on the evidence. All right, Destiny, go ahead and share with us your thoughts about Ebenezer.
I don't think he really cares that his son was kidnapped, because in the letter he wrote back to the man, he's telling them that if they want him to take his son back, they're going to have to pay him $250.
Okay, so we have he doesn't care. Did anyone have something different that they would like to challenge? Okay, start off with our STEM. EJ.
I would like to challenge that to say, I think he was trying to be brave about it because he wanted his son, but he also wanted some money for us because the kidnapping. He wanted to kind of like tell them don't do it ever again, something like that.
Okay. All right, something different. Josh?
I'd like, man, can I add to that? What he
Yeah,
said?
add to it.
I'd like to add that whenever he said when they bring him back, they want him to bring him back at night so the neighbors don't think that he's unresponsible for his son, and because they think he's lost. But if they don't see that somebody else is bringing him back, they won't think he's lost. They just think he went somewhere else.
So how would you describe the dad then?
He's scared because he don't want other people to think bad about him.
Okay, so do you think he cares about his son? Okay. All right, Anna?
I would like to challenge it because I think Ebenezer knows that his son is a handful and that he expected that the kidnappers will be tired of the son, because at least he goes into effort to get his son back, even though he does charge money for him. He in the letter that they address, they say that they will not give the son back unless they have so much money. Well, the father is brave enough to actually request money instead, and he says, give me $250 in cash and I will agree to take him off your hands. So he knows how much trouble that the son can be, and he already suspects that the kidnappers will be tired of him.
Okay, very good.
I would like to add to Destiny's. I don't think he cares because he said, I think you're a little too high in your demands, even though we know he has a lot of money and he can pay that debt and get some back.
Okay, so pull in your evidence from the text. So you're going to write that right here. What is your evidence that proves your statement about Ebenezer Dorset? So if you think that he's teaching them a lesson, then you're going to want to go ahead and pull that in. So if I were doing that, I would use the phrase on page 10 when he says, I'm inclined to believe you will accept. Because that's him acknowledging how difficult his son is. And he's saying, I'm inclined to believe you're going to accept this offer. Okay? If you think that he doesn't care about his son, then you might choose a different phrase. So whichever one, you and your partner kind of decide on it and jot that one down. Okay, let me grab your attention. Let's come back together. Okay, and the last one. Be sure that you answer both of these questions. So what would be unexpected about what Ebenezer Dorset did? Think about it and raise your hand. What was unexpected about what Ebenezer Dorset did? Somebody I have not yet called on. I'm looking for a new hand in the air today. How about Dylan?
When they asked the robbers for the money, I would have figured that he would have went ahead and paid just to get his son back.
Okay, that's what most of us would expect. Somebody has our kid, we would think you paid to get your kid back. Not demand that the kidnappers pay you. That's not what we were expecting as the reader. So that's what we would write here. We would say, it was unexpected that the father demand that the kidnappers pay him to take his own kid back. Okay, that was unexpected. What effect does that have on us as the reader? What was our effect? As we were reading that in the story, what happened when I read that out loud?
There was a lot of irony and it was funny.
Yes, it was ironic. We all started laughing. All right? So the effect that it had on the reader is it made it funny. All right? So that's what we would write here. Okay? You don't have to write that down. We're just doing this together. Okay, so now what I want you to do with your shoulder partner is choose either Red Chief or Bill, and you're going to go through this same process right now together. Either character, you don't have to do both. You get to choose which one, and with your shoulder partner. Savannah, if you can start our time. Okay, so we've analyzed all these characters. Let's take a quick peek and see if our predictions about these characters is accurate. Remember, before we started reading this short story, we said that Bill and Sam were selfish, greedy, sneaky, cruel, psycho, evil, mean, creepy. Were our predictions correct? No. We also said that they were going to be the antagonist in the story. Was that correct? No. Okay. We said that the dad, Ebenezer, was going to be sad, depressed, worried, stressed, desperate, frustrated, scared. Were we correct? No, we're far from it. Okay, we predicted that Red Chief was going to be scared, miserable, terrified, depressed, withdrawn, confused, careless, threatened, and innocent. No. Most definitely not. We also said that he was going to be the protagonist, and was he? No. Okay, so who was the antagonist in the story? Red Chief. And who was the protagonist in the story? Bill. Okay, if we had to choose one out of the two, who would be Bill? Bill would be the protagonist. Okay, so the lesson that we can learn from this is going into a story, things may get twisted very quickly. So we can't make a judgment on it as we enter the story. We've got to go all the way through because things may be very different. All right? I just thought that was kind of interesting to go back after we've analyzed all these characters and compare it, because this is before we read. All right? Let's see where we are. We're getting very close to our ending. Let's take a look at Learn Zillion. Have we done everything that Learn Zillion predicted for us to do? Did we analyze characters, actions, and points of view to determine how they affected us? Yes. Okay. So we have done all of that, but now let's write it down in our exit ticket. So this is going to come back to your little slip of paper, which is what you're going to hand to me today. All right, so on the back, I want you to create, just real quickly, just write down 2 or 3 quick things. If you had to judge, did I get it today? Did I understand those objectives? Did I figure it all out? If you were going to write down a sentence about a character, what would be your list that shows me that you got it today? Okay, it may look something like this. Right? Just a quick list. Quick little rubric. Create your own rubric. I want you to write a sentence about any of the characters except for Sam, because I'm going to use Sam as an example. Alright, so here's my example to show that I got these objectives. Sam, the head kidnapper and ransom of the Red Chief by O. Henry, is a reasonable man. I know this because paragraph 85 says we took him home that night. He made this decision because he felt sorry for his friend Bill, and because he realized the father of the boy had outsmarted him. Okay? So you write a sentence about any character you choose besides Sam. That just gives me a little bit of insight that you got it. Let's go ahead and check mine just to kind of have an example. These are the things I came up with. I wanted to be sure that I included a quote from the text. So do I have a quote from the text in here? What is it?
We took him home.
We took him home that night. Okay, so yay, I get a check. Okay, do I have dialogue in here?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
What is it?
We took him home that night.
Who says that in the story?
Sam.
Would that be considered dialogue though? Because is he in a conversation?
No.
No, so that would not be included dialogue. Now that's an easy mistake to make because we see the quotation marks and we automatically think it's dialogue. But we can have quotation marks for our conversation or if we're just quoting from the text. So we have to pay attention to why are these quotation marks here. So I don't get that one. Do I have a paragraph number?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, what is it?
Paragraph 85.
Paragraph 85, so I do get this one. Do I have my character's name?
Yes.
Okay, now you might think, oh, that's such an easy one. Why would you do that? You know you're going to get that point. Well, the reason I did that is because sometimes we can get into the habit of beginning our sentence with the word he or she because we assume that our reader knows who we're talking about. So we want to sometimes make sure we have our character's name. What about do I have an adjective to describe my character?
Yes.
Yes.
My adjective is reasonable. That is correct. All right, so now take a look at your own quote. Check it against your rubric. All right, clock's ticking, so we're going to go ahead and move to our goals. While you're wrapping this up, let's just quickly go through our goals. Make sure we accomplished all of them. Did we cite evidence from the text today?
Yes, ma'am.
Thumbs up if we did. Yes. Did we analyze how dialogue or incidents revealed aspects of the character? Yes. Did we determine meaning of words as they were used in the text?
Yes.
What was our word of the day?
Martyr.
I noticed how most of you knew the word this time rather than just one of you remembering it, so that's excellent. And we were able to write about it. Did we write what we learned up here? Yes, we did. We wrote about it right here. All right. This was our character charts. This was also in our character charts. This was our word martyr. And this was our write it down. All right, so those are our goals as a class to make sure that we got everything as a class done. But now let's check in with our goal that we had just as an individual. So go back to your original personal goal and then check in with yourself. Did you meet that goal today? Did you accomplish what you had set out for yourself? If you did, I want you to put a great big smiley face by it because yay you accomplished your personal goal. If you didn't, don't stress over it. We're gonna just come back to it tomorrow. Tomorrow's a fresh start and you can go for it tomorrow. All right, so you're gonna go ahead and be sure your name is on that. That's what you're gonna turn in on the table on your way outside the door. All right? All right. And last but not least, let's go ahead and take a quick peek ahead. Tomorrow we are going to get back into our point of view that we started off this entire unit with, and we'll take a look at how the story would be different if it was told by Red Chief. So that'll be something interesting to take a look at. You can put everything in your folder except for your exit tickets, which you will put on the table on your way out. Be sure your name is on it. And you give yourself a round of applause for a great day.